lost another one. I think I remember earlier last year when we did something like this similar, when Macho Man Randy Savage passed away. It has come to my attention that as of Tuesday night, or last night actually, because today's Wednesday, last night, Paul Bearer, or William Moody, who, that's his real name, has passed away. Now, I'm not going to get into specifics because people still don't know. Some people are saying he has suffering from a blood clot of some kind 3 days prior. I'm not going to get into those details because I don't want to butcher anything, and I have enough respect for him and his family as much as Ed would do with anyone's family personally, or anyone that has passed on. It's just not for me to speculate or anything at all. What is the facts, though, is this was really unexpected. I believe 4 months ago someone did a joke about this, saying he was dead, and he really wasn't. And me looking at everything, I don't really understand how this could happen. Because with the Randy Savage situation, there was a car crash. This one was, all we know, or all I know, is a blood clot is involved, or something is involved, or some kind of thing is involved. I still can't believe it, actually. But what pisses me off, though, is people that joke about something like this. People that joke about Paul Bearer's death, saying, "Oh, the Undertaker coming back on Raw was a sign of something," or a more one that I think is horrible. Oh, now see it like Paul Bearer can have a fucking urn, and you CM Punk or whatever the fuck they said, like have the ashes of Paul Bearer in a fucking urn or some bullshit. I don't even remember. It was so disgusting and so stupid. Yeah, like pretend to be fucking Paul Bearer. Yeah, Paul Heyman can pretend to be fucking Paul Bearer. Sure, the Lawler incident was one thing. Because, Lawler okayed it. And that's the only way I would believe that they would get away with that on television. Besides the fact that it's not ECW anymore. It's PG, and, you don't joke about shit like that. Especially, you don't joke about death. Case in point is a story I'm going to talk about briefly. And some of you have heard this before, but there's a part of it that you don't know. I think earlier I talked about when my grandfather passed away, over a year or so ago or something. I was doing a bunch of stuff for him, pretty much. And I don't remember if I ever talked about it on here. Obviously you see this Lions Club shirt. Now, I'm not making this about me, I'm just using this as an example, which kind of ties in, and you'll see later. Anyway, my grandfather actually was a soldier for, I believe, the Korean War and some parts of the Cold War. I just remember that because of the stories of Skull Cliff, a base somewhere in Alaska or somewhere in Russia. I believe it's Alaska somewhere. Which back then they used Morse code. And for those who don't know what Morse code is, Google it. You'll probably figure it out in a few seconds. But one thing he used to always do is raise money for FCA, which is, for those who don't know, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. One year he wasn't doing so well, and a bunch of Lions Club members were there at the time. My grandma somehow told them the story, how it's meant so much to them, and it touched them so much that they made a charitable and amazing donation to FCA, or to him to donate to FCA, rather. And ever since he passed away, a year or so, or it's almost been 2 years. It's been hard. And, I join organizations like this for him. Because I feel like I'm making a difference in this world, and I feel like I'm making him proud. But how this story ties into Paul Bearer is really kind of awkward. Well, he was cremated. And for those who don't know, you burn, because I know there's a bunch of idiots that don't know this stuff, so I'm going to tell them anyway, or just people that just don't know, and I apologize if I called you an idiot. There's so many emotions going through my head, I want to tell these stories, so I'm sorry in advance. But he was cremated, and what that means is, you burn the body, burn the remains, and all the ashes are in an urn. Because people tell stories of, when I die, I want you to take my ashes and flicker them all over the Great Sea or whatever, or just put them down the Georgia River or something like that. I don't know. So like that, they will always be a part of the earth, and the earth will always be a part of them. So something like along those lines, something like that. But it's one thing to do something like that. It's another to look at this urn, a white urn, have a military portion where the military, or actually, excuse me, the Marines, well, still part of the military, but still, the Marines come and have a flag presentation, handing it to my grandma, and of course, she not knowing what to do, stands there and salutes, and it was kind of funny at the time. They saluted her, and she saluted back, but after looking at that urn, I was probably one of the few people to do this. I mean, I just wanted to know he was okay, and he was all right. And I walked up, touched the urn on the top, and I feel this weird force coming. I feel this, strange force. I have my eyes closed, like praying, holding the urn, not holding it, but putting my hand on top of it, and it honestly was one of the most bizarre things that you really cannot explain. I just felt some force from this urn. Because, the stories of back in the day, the urn had some kind of fucking power, Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, and, like, lights shone out of it. And I guess for SummerSlam, they had a big-ass fucking urn, and it was like a flashlight pretty much. But, from Survivor Series and the Rumble, like when there was green smoke and then there was smoke overall coming out of the earth, shit like that. Those kind of stories. This was real. I felt the urn. I felt the power of the urn. You can say, but not the power in it. But it was just something that told me that my father would be all right. Now the funeral still took place and whatnot. As we were driving to the funeral home, I actually tweeted a lot and, social media, just telling people I'm all right, just shit's going down today and it's, really hard. Well, one of those people I asked was Paul Bearer. And Paul Bearer, I don't remember what his answer was. It's been too long, I don't remember his answer. But I asked him, in your line of work, I don't remember the exact question, but in your line of work, what is harder to do? Because for those who don't know, Paul Bearer in real life ran an actual funeral home, and wasn't an embalmer, or I don't remember his official title, and worked that kind of deal. He was actually a mortician. That's what I was thinking of. I'm just going to cut this for a second. I apologize for the awkward cut.